Hey, this is Robin.
This is Jackie.
And this is Amanda.
And you are listening to We Saw the Devil, a podcast dedicated to horror, true crime, and all things macabre. If you want to follow us between shows, don't forget to check us out online. You can go to our website at www.wesawthedevil.com. You can follow us on Instagram at We Saw the Devil Podcast or on Twitter at We Saw the Devil. And if you want to follow specific co-hosts' social media, you can find the links to those on our website as well. Happy Sunday morning, everyone. We promised an update episode on Lori Vallow's appearance in Madison County, amongst other new things that have happened this week. So here we are.
Isn't she just trifling?
We will get into that. So today you are going to be stuck with Robin, me,
And Jackie?
because Amanda has forsaken us and gone to Las Vegas.
She is lost right now, probably looking for her keys and sanity and sobriety somewhere.
Somewhere on Fremont Street.
Yeah, Fremont Street. I think that I noticed that she's being harassed by a naked guy with a guitar, so we'll find out. I'm sure she has many tales to tell us when she comes back.
A man who appeared to be wearing a sock covering his genitals that said, "Rock out with your cock out." So, Amanda, enjoy the beautiful scenery.
Oh, I'm sure she's loving it.
Yep. So, this was a big week. Yet again, we promised you an episode a couple days ago, but we just really thoroughly wanted to research and make sure the sources were good. And, there's so much speculation. So, we gave it a day or two, and now we are here. That being said, let's dive into the hearing. So, Lori Vallow finally appeared before the Madison County Court. And man, I don't know how she got Wet n Wild lipstick there at the prison, but that was not Mary Kay.
Her lipstick was awfully done. It was outside of the lip line and everything, if I may say. She looked kind of ratchet, but how did she get it? Right? It seems like everyone's kind of pissed that she was even allowed and afforded makeup, considering that her kids are still missing.
Yep.
Oh, and don't forget the pink handcuffs.
So that's actually what completely threw me for a loop. Now, I was watching the hearing as Amanda was on her way to Vegas, and the very, very, very first thing I noticed, so it is an absolute media shit show in Rexburg right now. I mean, everyone is there. Our beloved Justin Lum from Phoenix is there. I mean, it is a circus. People outside with signs, where are your children? I mean, it's crazy. So, watch that. Watch people come in, sit in the courtroom. Saw Larry and Kay Woodcock. Brandon Boudreaux was there. And then they bring Lori in. This podcast, we pride ourselves in sticking to facts and talking about stories and the case itself. But I think we can take just a moment to discuss how Lori looked.
Her hair looked a little bit better than last time. Somehow. Someone let her brush her damn hair.
No, I actually read about that. And apparently in prison, to get those curls back, you just braid your hair. So people are saying that she probably just braided her hair overnight and got those beachy waves.
Ooh, gotta get them prison beach waves, huh? That's important. But no, she came out with this superiority complex.
Defiant.
Yeah, and lacking complete discipline. I think that prison life is actually showing the cracks in her personality. And then are you ready to hear about the handcuffs?
Yes.
I think that the pink handcuffs shows that she is really good with interacting with people. I think that she got some favoritism behind her.
I have pored over the internet trying to find out how she could have obtained or been placed into pink handcuffs. And pretty much the only thing that I have read is that sometimes prisons actually, especially with either female prisons, they will actually give women pink handcuffs because, gals like pink. So...
Well, she doesn't deserve even Pepto-Bismol. No. All right?
So, yeah, that was really, really odd. Just watching her come out with this god-awful shade of red lipstick, which I personally, as a court junkie, did not really find appropriate for her scenario. But I digress. And then pink handcuffs. And like Jackie said, she was defiant. She walked out, and the beautiful part about the courtroom, if you can imagine it for a moment, is say you're looking at the courtroom out over the courtroom from where the judge is sitting. Lori Vallow comes in from the right side, and she has to pass by the prosecutor's side, right? The state side. So she passes by Colby Ryan, her son. She passes by Kay and Larry Woodcocks. She passes by Brandon Boudreaux. And she was defiant, had her nose stuck up in the air, and just walked right by them.
I thought it was kind of weird that every time that she communicated with her attorney, she would have laughter. Like, she was just so casual and nonchalant about everything that was happening that I think that it actually leaves a bitter taste in the mouth of many from what I've been reading. And the reactions of most people who are really into this case, it's telltale of her psyche, you know, of the type of person that goes there. And she at one point did choke up. It looked like she was about to cry. But that doesn't matter. Her body language just lacks so much discipline, you know? And they let her off easy. They let her off pretty easy, even though it was, you know, she had a good attorney this time.
Well, let's get into that. So the judge of this case is Farron Z. Edens, and he's the new judge. A lot of speculation online that I would like to address as well, especially in Facebook groups, is so this hearing was also a bail reduction hearing, right? The judge himself is a member of the LDS Church. And a lot of people are speculating, well, he let her off easy and he shouldn't have reduced her bail. And, you know, the woman in Hawaii, the judge in Hawaii was much better. Let's not, and I would ask people too, not to speculate and say, oh, well, you know, now that she's back in Idaho, it's going to be a, you know, Mormon free for all. Like, that's actually not the case. I truly believe, based on the charges that she has against her, that reducing her bail is accurate because of the amount of fines that her charges have against them for like a normal person.
The prosecutor made a very compelling argument as to why she would be a fleet risk and why bail being set so high would be appropriate.
It is not standard. I do agree with her bail being lowered. You know, that's also protecting her constitutional rights, you know, to a fair trial. So her bail was in fact lowered, as Jackie said, from $5 million down to $1 million. So basically, if she wants to bond out, they have to procure 10% of that, which would be $100,000, and then also show collateral for the remainder. Every bail bondsman apparently works differently from what I've read, and a couple bail bondsman companies have actually said that they've tried to work with her, and they're actually apparently currently having difficulty. Now, again, we're recording right now early Sunday morning, and she still has not been bailed out as of yet. So again, that's $100,000 at least, plus $900,000 in collateral. Now, as if you followed our other previous episodes, you know that Vallow-Daybell is basically broke.
It seems to me that their limit was $10,000 because that's what they were trying to push, even in Hawaii.
That's the magic number.
That is the magic number. But yeah, I don't think that she's going to be able to get out. I don't think that she's going to be able to get out. And under the condition of her getting bond would be wearing an ankle bracelet.
Yes.
A GPS tracking device, or as some lovingly adore it as, a ghetto pager.
Yeah. And yeah, so Jason Lum reported, I believe Friday evening, that she was working with multiple bail bonds companies in an attempt to get out, and that the Madison County, the correctional facility, had the ankle bracelet ready to go. Like, they've already gotten it ready, it was ready to go, and they were just literally waiting on her to bail out. And again, if you've listened to our previous episode, you know that Vallow-Daybell got $430,000 in life insurance policy on Tammy. That when someone, the news reported that he has like 130, forgive me, I forget the exact amount, but it's in the $100,000 range left in his Hawaiian bank account. That's not enough.
No.
And his home still has a balance on it. And, you know, he had the bankruptcy. So lots of speculation as far as who could, we'll get into that in a moment, assist in bailing her out. But Vallow-Daybell is likely not the candidate. Now, they did say in court, the judge asked, so if Mrs. Daybell does bail out, where will she go? And her attorney said, well, I'll give you the address privately because of the media circus and so on and so forth. So I'm curious, do you think that she's going to stay in Vallow-Daybell's house?
I do.
So it's actually really interesting. So Lori's attorney, the main one who spoke, her name is Edwina L. Cox, and she's kind of almost like if you order Christina Ricci from Wish, this is actually what you would get. And she said that her husband, so Chad, has maintained a longtime residence in the Rexburg area and that he has family there and, you know, trying to basically plead her case as far as how she would not be a flight risk. And it's just so sincerely fucked up that Vallow-Daybell, speculative, likely killed his wife, so he could be with Lori, and then now Lori's going to get bailed out and literally go to the home of Chad and Tammy's house. That's so sad.
I think so.
So I wonder if that's the address. I wonder, because the media circus has been so intense in Rexburg, everyone knows where Chad lives. People have been camping outside his house, trying to knock on the door. And he's not accepting anything but Instacart right now. So, like, literally people brought him groceries. Instacart brought him groceries. So,
so I'm halfway expecting to see him with just one day at the grocery store with just bags of cat litter. Right. And he becomes a meme, like Glenn Danzig. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. So initially the judge went one by one over all of her charges. He asked her if she understood them, if she understood the English language. She said yes to everything. And then they talked about bail. Jackie, how do you think her attorney did? Like her attorney's demeanor.
I think her attorney actually put everything together very well. She made a very compelling presentation as to why she should get bail lowered. I think she actually did a good job. Unfortunately, she has a decent attorney. You could tell that her attorney did the hard work to look into as to like give the judge a reason to let her like have lowered bail. And then the prosecutor's side they had a very compelling reason as to why it shouldn't be lowered.
They did. A new piece of information that I wasn't aware of personally. So her attorney, again, her name is Edwina Alcott, said when Lori was in Hawaii, apparently contacted law enforcement directly and basically said, hey, if any charges, come against me or, subpoenas or whatever, I will turn myself in. And her attorney said, but instead, law enforcement in Hawaii turned it into a spectacle. I actually wasn't aware that Lori had contacted law enforcement and said that I'll gladly turn myself in. So that was something new to me.
I wonder if that was a lie. But they did make the supporting argument that she's never been arrested before. No charges ever, nothing in her entire life. And that she's never been an outlaw of the court, more or less. Like, she's never stood up on a court date. The only thing that she has is that she didn't procure the children.
Mm-hmm. I think she said that the high bail amount denied her due process because not a single charge that she's facing is one of violence.
Yeah. But what's interesting is that the prosecutor side came out and then they said that they're investigating 3 deaths that are suspicious that are linked to her and that she's a flight risk. So when you add that up and you put it all together, it's very important to be like, okay, so why would she need bail? Well, they believe that she had the means to flee because it was a pattern of behavior, and they were just like, we need her to not try and cover up evidence. We need her to just basically stay in one place so we can figure it out and do our investigation because she could be a violent offender.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
That was really interesting, though. Another piece of new information that I personally wasn't aware of, back to her defense attorney, she said that, well, Lori's not a flight risk because her passport has expired and that Lori worked in a salon, the same salon, for 15 years. Like, damn, she not doing a lot with that hair then in prison, I have to say. No. It must be real bleak in there.
Oh, I bet. She's doing better than some.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
Let's see. As already stated, Brandon, Colby, and the grandparents are present. Really, the only thing new from this particular hearing is the bail reduction, and the preliminary hearing for all of this is going to take place on starting March 18th. It's going to be a 2-day process, March 18th and March 19th, both at 9 a.m. So that's going to be the next court date for her, March 18th at 9 a.m.
And it seems that they're bringing 5 counts against her right now. Mm-hmm. So as they're listing the 5 counts and the penalties for the 5 counts that they're trying her for, it made me realize something, that if the children were going to be anywhere, it's Idaho. Like, this is my own speculation, just because it's almost like an admission of guilt. If you move somewhere and you tell someone that your kids are somewhere else when someone's looking for your kids, it's more likely
deflection. Yeah,
you're trying to, create a diversion basically, and that your children are probably somewhere where like, instead of them being in Arizona, obviously, because she diverted them to Arizona to
Melanie Gibbs.
Yeah, Melanie Gibb. Now they're looking in Arizona for a moment for the kids. Meanwhile, she's in Idaho, and then she's going to move to Hawaii.
Yep.
I mean, how more guilty can you present yourself to be?
Right.
And that was something that the prosecutor brought up. And which is, within one of the counts that they're trying her for. One of the charges.
Oh, solicitation, right?
Yeah. So I just thought it was very interesting, and it made me really think. And I'm like, Is there going? I'm just afraid that there's going to be a bias in Idaho, though. Like, I think I share a lot of other people's fears.
That's so I've spoken with a couple people who are Mormon, and they all maintain and also been a silent observer. And I know that we have a lot of listeners in the Christmas Misery, Tylee, Ryan, and JJ Vallow group. So again, thank you for listening, side note. But I have seen a good deal of banter back and forth with the judge is Mormon too. And I just can we stop automatically believing that everything is going to have a bias though? Because I truly don't believe that she will. Like, I really honestly don't believe that she will have a bias. I think that because there's such public scrutiny of this case, that it's going to be really, really difficult. And also, we can't forget that Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow were the fringe, in the same sense that Southern Baptists, right, don't want to be associated with snake handlers and shit. They're considered fringe. So just because they share the same foundational religion, I think that these people are more embarrassed by her than anything. At least that's what I'm seeing from people who are in the LDS church in Rexburg, is what they're saying. Lori is bringing a shame on their house, basically, is making them look batshit. And it's not a good look.
I have no opinion on this, other than I still have fears that they're going to have a bias regardless. And it seems like, I'm afraid that the pink handcuffs, come on.
That could have been a prison item. We do not know.
No, one just buys handcuffs and be like, can you put these on me?
No, the prison as a whole could, if it was for a female inmate, have pink handcuffs for them.
Well, maybe she's, doing real good with one of the correctional officers there. And I'm like, can I have the pink handcuffs? Oh, here you go.
Do you know why she had pink handcuffs? Do any of you know? Please feel free to email us.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, at wesawthedevil@gmail.com. Thank you. Yeah, where are we now?
So what's interesting is that the prosecutor did bring up, finally, we're hearing more about her collecting the Social Security benefits of the children. And it's just really interesting because we didn't hear about that in Hawaii, really. The prosecutor wasn't, up to present that yet. Now that she's in Idaho, the evidence is going to start rolling in. And I think that I hate to say that I'm excited. I don't know a better word for it, but I'm excited to see some of the evidence come out so maybe we can find the children.
Well, this is going to be slow moving, so you have to realize that we don't have a murder case. We have the children are missing. We have solicitation, negligence, abandonment, failure to procure the children. We have other charges, but like Jackie said, there will be at some point Social Security fraud, most likely.
Yeah.
And depending on the evidence that the FBI, as we stated in our last episode, the FBI is there. There are differing accounts. Some people in Facebook groups who live in the area say that there's snowmobiles and vehicles going into Yellowstone. That has not been confirmed though. But the mobile command for the FBI, this huge truck, is in Rexburg currently.
I didn't know they were in Rexburg. I thought they had moved on to Yellowstone.
No, not yet.
Okay.
So there are going to be additional charges. Even the prosecutor pretty much mentioned the likelihood of additional charges being tacked on to her. That would be, separate court case altogether. But so these are the 5 that are going to be tried currently.
What's awful is that if the FBI is searching for remains, they have enough reason to believe, because that's millions of dollars.
Well, it also came out to Justin Lum, bless your heart, said the FBI came out and basically said that they have unearthed digital, basically history showing a quote possible network that indicates foul play. So
what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean exactly? We all know what foul play means. So I wonder what items, in our last episode, we went over the emails. This is God, there's so many emails. The email that Lori sent to Chad as Charles, and then so on and so on and so forth. I stated this in our last episode. We'll speculate with the children later. That's kind of our final thing that we do. It was just her demeanor this entire hearing. It was enraging.
Well, when they talked about the reduction of her bail, her laughter. So half the time she was trying not to cry.
I disagree with you. She was laughing and defiant and rolled her eyes and looked up and laughed and smirked the entire time.
I didn't see her roll her eyes.
Oh, every time.
What I saw at one point was that she got teary-eyed. when her attorney was going over her life and how long she's been somewhere and talking about her working at the salon for 15 years and stuff, she got teary-eyed a little bit. And then, you know, thinking about her life probably outside of prison more than likely and what she's losing. And then when they talked about the reduction of bail, she just was all laughs. I don't know. It's just weird. I know that a lot of people have an opinion on this, which is like great because she's an actor, you know?
Big time. Something that was really interesting though is, so to my knowledge, and again, people correct me if I am wrong, but to my knowledge, Lori has not actually formally changed her last name. And I am noticing that this is a big thing, that a lot of people think that the second you marry someone, your name changes. That is not true. You actually have to go get it changed yourself. So the judge asked Lori, how would you like to be addressed, by Lori Vallow or Lori Daybell? And she said Daybell. And she smirked and she kind of smiled a little bit and then kept looking. And then she looked back at Chad a little bit, gave him like a little bit of side glance. Every single time the judge said Mrs. Daybell, she actually would smirk. And I watched a YouTube video of a behaviorist, like of a criminal behaviorist and whatnot, who actually pointed that out.
That's interesting.
Basically pointing out about how like their, you know, connection and, you know, kind of how she, not under his spell, that is the cheesiest fucking phrase I've ever heard, but just how she's still so enamored by being called his name, if that makes sense.
Being spellbound, maybe?
Yeah, kind of. So that was very interesting.
Oh, that's very cool. I didn't know you even found that video, to be honest.
But that's pretty much it. So bail reduction, and March 18th at 9 a.m. this shit show, the preliminary hearing, will continue. Other notable events from the hearing. So immediately after the hearing, they vacated the right side of the courtroom. Colby Ryan stood up, shot Chad Daybell a nasty look. And one of my favorite screen grabs is when Lori was walking by Kay and Larry. And Kay Woodcock literally gave Lori the look of Satan. Like, if looks could kill, Lori Vallow would be on the ground.
Her eyes were daggers.
Daggers. It was so impressive. Kay, I love you. Really heartwarming, though. A lot of people have been wondering about the necklaces. In particular, the leis that Larry and Kay were wearing for this court case. So that was due to the fact that someone who worked for Dateline in Hawaii flew the leis basically back to the Woodcocks, you know, pretty much as support from the people from Hawaii, right? So gave them the leis and said, hey, this is, you know, showing you that the people of Hawaii are behind you. We support you. And hopefully one day the children will get to wear these. So Larry and Kay wore these. And I thought that was really kind of sweet.
I even asked you, I was like, why are they wearing leis?
Yeah.
And you had the answer immediately. You don't skip a beat. So it's crazy.
But it was really, really sweet.
It's very heartwarming.
It is. So many people care about this.
Well, what's important is that what you told me, which I believe this is the deal with it, is that if they do find the children, they're going to give the leis to the children.
Right.
When they find them. Mm-hmm. Which... Come on, who's trying not to cry right now? You know, like, that's so sad. That is the saddest thing I've ever heard.
It's so sweet. But yeah, so that's where the leis came from, in case you were wondering. So Colby Ryan did, and the Woodcocks together did a press conference outside of the court after Lori's hearing. Larry is just, where are those kids? Where are those kids? We just want those kids. And he is fucking done. And he did say that, you know, he's sad for the kids. He wants to find them, but he's happy that justice is being performed. So we'll see. But they're such strong people to be going through all of this. And, you know, I have to give my opinion on something, and it may be unpopular, but it has actually bothered me a little bit that the Woodcocks it seems, I don't know how to put it nicely, but it seems like they've just solely cared about JJ almost a lot of the time. That, like, Tylee's an afterthought. You know, where's JJ? Where's JJ? JJ's my blood. JJ's my blood. And Tylee, we want Tylee too. And it's actually rubbed me so the wrong way, like, this entire time, that they haven't really seemed to care about Tylee as much. But I feel like in the court hearing, they kind of, like, they made up for that a little bit.
I think so. I think that a lot of people are going to probably disagree with you, and that's okay. You know, and I personally don't have an opinion on that like you do. I think that it's sad, and I think that they are actually being good grandparents.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, and they're going through a lot right now. Like, I can't imagine, not everyone's grandparents are so front and center and leaving themselves so vulnerable to the public like that either.
No, God, they were on Dr. Phil with Annie Cushing, who I've been speaking to on Twitter, just conversing with on Twitter here and there. And she's in multiple of the Facebook groups, and she's been an incredible resource. But the family has really pulled together and come forward. And it's really incredible to see. And everyone wishes they could have a Larry or a Kay, because they will, until their dying day, they will be fighting for those kids. Another thing that happened, so Colby Ryan, he was also at this after hearing press conference. Now that is Lori Vallow's son. And I feel my heart actually breaks for Colby. Like, it actually breaks. Had his mother, he said by all accounts, he was close to his mother. He said, I could tell her anything, talk to her about anything. He was so close to Tylee. If you actually look on his Facebook account, which is still public, back 2 years ago, every post was Tylee and JJ. Like, they were all so close. And then now he's lost his, Tylee. They texted daily. They FaceTime daily. And so he lost basically his sister. He lost JJ, and he lost his mother. He lost his car because of all of this, and he lost his job.
Oh, no.
So Colby Ryan actually has a GoFundMe. It seems like the kind of opinion of it is split 50-50 if people think he's being opportunistic or looking for a handout or looking to profit off of this. And the other 50% are like, he literally just lost half his family, and his mother may have killed his siblings. Like, give the kid a break. But he does have a GoFundMe if any of you bleeding hearts want to shoot Colby a couple dollars. He is currently in Rexburg, Idaho, trying to speak with Lori. And it's speculating now whether Lori wouldn't even look at him when she left the courtroom. But he came to court. He hasn't seen his mother in like over a year, like almost 2 years. And she wouldn't even look at him as she walked by him in court.
How sad.
Isn't that sad? And so he is currently in Rexburg trying to meet with her. Whether that's going to happen, I don't know. But it's sad nonetheless. He seems to really, without a doubt, he loves those kids too. Let's see. Another thing this week. So as we spoke about Lori's bail and whether Chad has the finances and the capability of getting Lori out, you may remember the name Christopher Perrette, who founded the Avow Forum. Now, Avow is the group where a lot of the French LDS groups. So the Avow Forum, Christopher Perrette, he has money. It's also speculated that he is behind the Free Lori Vallow group on Facebook that's gotten a shit ton of traction lately. There's some crazy lunatic running this Facebook group called Free Lori Vallow that is like literally just making fun of everybody and posting memes and, saying how there's no way that they should hold her. They have no evidence. And it's just like all around crazy. And I hate that it's even gained traction. But he has a lot of money. And if you've seen pictures of Christopher Perrette's house, I believe it's due to hit like a snowmobile business or like ATV type of business. He's got money, and he is probably Chad Daybell's and Lori's biggest supporter. So maybe he has something to do with it. But that has also been speculated. So another thing, people are wondering if Lori is going to take the stand. And as a legal junkie, I would like to say no, Lori is not going to be called to the stand. Because if Lori is called to the stand, you must understand that the prosecution cannot call the defendant as a witness, right? Because what are they going to do? Self-implicate? So the defense can call the defendant up and they can examine them, but then that also opens them up to the prosecution to cross-examine. And 99.999% of the time, defendants do not want that. Like, the defense side does not want that because it opens you up to a can of worms. So it is highly unlikely, given Lori's demeanor, given the fact that she has 2 missing children, a dead ex-husband, and a dead brother in the mix. I highly doubt that she is going to take the stand. But I think everybody is speculating about that, and I am going to speculate and say, no, Lori will not be taking the stand.
Not today, cult mom.
Not today, cult mom.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Nancy Grace.
Yes.
Nancy Grace. I haven't seen her in forever. Like, I used to watch her show when she was big on Jodi Arias and whatnot, which I will be talking about in a moment. But she angry.
I love how she talks down to you. Yeah. And kind of almost like you feel like you're in trouble with your teacher when Nancy Grace is telling you about this. And she's just so alerting. Like, her voice is the most alerting voice. She's like, oh my God.
Oh like, my God. Like, she's so.
But God bless her soul. Because, like, I do like her, but, like, her voice, sometimes her inflections give me anxiety. I'm not kidding.
And God, like, all the little nicknames that she comes up, like, something.
She's so creative.
She's so insane. But,
yeah.
So Nancy Grace has now announced Lori Vallow as cult mom. So.
I'm going to forever call her cult mom.
Cult mom.
Yeah. Well, like, here's the thing is that, like, it's not, I'm not even being sensationalist when I say that this is crazy. This is one of the craziest cases that I've ever seen. And even the guy who hosted Dateline came out and was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. And it was just like, it's just insane to me that this is even happening. I've never heard of anything like this. You know what? I've learned so much about LDS and like Mormonism and stuff. And I honestly, more than I wanted to know. Like, I'm not lying to you. Like, it's an afterthought in my head to be like, you know, I want to learn about Mormons. No, not really. You know, I don't like, unless you have a reason to learn about certain like different religious groups in that depth, you're not gonna probably ever explore it. So this is actually kind of eye-opening, and it actually helps to, you know, iron out some myths behind Mormons. And I think that it's a good educational experience, but on the other hand, it's like, where are the kids?
Exactly.
Where are the fucking kids?
So one other thing too in regards to the hearing is that a lot of people have been poring over the picture of Chad Daybell sitting there in court and wondering who the people were sitting behind Lori. So in the very back of the courtroom was like overflow seating, right? Like, whoever showed up to the court, and I think it was like 70 some odd people had seats like from in the back of the gallery or whatever. But there were 3 people sitting right in front of Chad Daybell. And just so you guys know, it wasn't preppers. It wasn't more cult people. It was a staffer with the Idaho Supreme Court, a magistrate judge, and then a Madison County clerk. So calm your feathers. We don't have like a full fucking cult, you know, like it's not Manson with his like little followers. It was just some legal people.
Well, I will be the judge of that without bias of whether or not they have bias that is coming into play on this, because I think it's safe to say that when you live in a small town and everyone knows everyone, especially within religion and stuff like that, you have to take an air of caution. Okay? Like, sorry. Like, small communities will small community.
That's true.
And I will leave it at that. But I will add this. Okay? I think that we may end up hitting an issue with Lori. Why? Why would I think we're going to hit an issue with Lori? Because I think that she is intelligent. I think that she has been a fucking mastermind. And I'm sorry to say this, other than stating the obvious, Chad Daybell, I feel like there's just something more going on behind him. Like, when I look at him, I'm like, yeah, obviously he can't be trusted, clearly. But like, there's this, I don't know, I think he's behind some of this. Speculation, clearly speculation. I'm being very speculative right now. I would like to know more about his involvement in this. I mean, obviously he's a shitbag, but there's something super shitbaggery about him, and he looks like a troglodyte, so it's kind of suspicious to begin with. Like, that big monkey brow on him, and like his smug face. It's like how he has no lips. It's weird. I'm a fucking creeper, man.
I think I do agree that Lori is very smart and calculating. I mean, my God, look at her entire life. It seems like she's jumped from one. I mean, she's very attractive. Okay. Lori was very, very attractive. Mm-hmm. So she very easily could maneuver herself around from attractive, older, you know, all of her husbands were a little bit older. So attractive older husband to attractive older husband, you know, very easily. So I do believe that she is pretty calculating.
Do you think we have a Black Widow on our hands?
I don't know.
I want to know.
I'm completely torn as far as what I think actually happened with all of this. I do not know. One thing that was really interesting, though, So beyond Lori's reaction to being called Daybell and how she looked at him and smirked and whatnot, right? So Julie Rowe, my favorite crazy bitch who, if you recall in any of our previous episodes or look online, Julie Rowe used to be friends with Chad Daybell. They did their podcast together. She published books with Chad Daybell, a whole bit. She claims that Chad Daybell confided in her that he lived multiple lives on multiple other planets. And one of those lives, he claims, was as James the Less, aka James the Just, who was the brother of Jesus.
Can I please say that's crazy?
And also, bless you, Justin Lum. According to divorce papers obtained by Fox 13 Phoenix in January, Lori Vallow believed that she had been married to James the Just in a past life. So this kind of further proves that, you know, what other people have been saying, even that Lori, you know, Charles Vallow said it before he died, that Lori feels that she lived multiple lives and is connected to people. And then the same thing that Chad preaches in some of his writings, that he's led multiple lives and had visions and so on and so forth. So it seems, guys, that they are connected because Lori feels like she was married to the brother of Jesus.
Okay, I don't care if your religion tells you that you're supposed to be the wizard of the school of witchcraft. Okay, anybody who has like these false notions of like an illusion of grandeur scares the shit out of me. It just tells me that somebody believes that they are literally a god and they are untouchable. Is a little weird, especially when there's like, you know, her past. Mm-hmm. Okay, you have her past, and then you have the fact that she has this pattern of behavior that is even pointed out by the prosecutor that is super concerning and suspicious as hell.
Yep.
And someone comes out and be like, but I'm a god. Yeah, let me tell you what gods are, okay?
Don't forget. Now, again, I will mention this every episode. I like almost want a countdown ticker to the end of the world because it's like, what, July 20th that they believe that the world is going to end, the 20th or 22nd. And that she's gonna, like, a portal is gonna appear. Like, it's just so batshit. But, you know, I wonder in all of this, and this ties into what I think happened to the children. Because speculation alert, it is batshit insane to choose jail time over producing children. Right? Like, it's batshit. All logic would tell you she killed these kids and she cannot produce them.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's logic 101, right? But religious extremists and people in these fringe groups aren't logical. They aren't logical. And so I find myself wavering back and forth on whether I think the children are dead or alive, or maybe they've been squirreled away somewhere to be protected, or, you know, maybe because Chad Daybell this week also apparently said that the children are safe.
Yeah, but we could all like lie out of our assholes and be like, well, you know, it's safe today. Well, and meanwhile, there's like a dead body under the floorboard. Right. But no, there's no dead body, officer. Are we serious?
Right. But you cannot, you know, weirder shit has in fact happened. So, you know, the religious extremism and like delusions, I mean, they're delusions, I don't know. I feel like I have to account for that. Like with, you know, Lori. And
to me, what's like super concerning is the fact that I did hear through the grapevine that a lot of, you know, even the fringe groups, and there's a lot of sects of any religion that don't believe that you should take your medication. Now, I wonder how much medication Lori is supposed to be on that she's not taking, you know, because it seems that she's mentally ill. Clearly, she's mentally ill.
Well, and this is where we get into the energy healers and we can connect. And this is why in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a guest on who is Mormon, who is actually going to explain from a like scripture point of view within the LDS church, like what a lot of this stuff means and everything. But, you know, that goes to energy healers. So a lot of the people that Chad surrounded himself with in a vow and preparing a people were energy workers. And this also goes for Zulema Pastines. If you look at her, right, the woman who married Alex right before his death, she, on every website on the internet, lists herself as an energy healer, an energy worker. So there's just so much batshit, like, new age fringe religious shit in here. I just, like, I can't make up my mind with what happened to the children. Like, is Lori literally, is she a cold-blooded killer, a smart cold-blooded killer? Is she a fanatic religious nut job? And did they just happen to cross?
I don't know. And this is why it's really important to go into things with an open mind, especially when you're waiting on evidence to come in. We don't have much evidence yet as that suggests the truth.
Yeah.
That points us to the truth of the matter. We can sit here and we can speculate and be like, we're going to find the children, or the children are dead. We can say that, or we can say that she's a black widower, or we can say all kinds of things, but it doesn't mean it's true. So I stand on the unbiased notion that I actually don't know. I can sit here and speculate and be like, well, that's suspicious. Yes. If something presents to be suspicious, more than likely there's probably something wrong.
Yeah.
There's no coincidences, right? And I've heard a lot of speculation that where people make presumptions. Let's try and set aside some presumptions, and let's really try and just, as the evidence comes in, as the police do their work, and really like take it in for what it is and be like, wow, because it's going to be so impactful, this case.
Mm-hmm. It is. We're just going to have to take it one day at a time and see, when the evidence, and this is going to be a very long case, right? This is going to be a very long case. The FBI is there. Law enforcement is working. It is winter currently in that area. There's snow on the ground. We will see. But it's really interesting. It's keeping us obsessed with the case, to be honest.
Well, the problem is that if children are missing, right, you have a clock that's working against you.
Yeah.
On any missing person, and that's what makes me nervous. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people who are listening that share that kind of perspective, that time is of the essence.
Yeah, no, it very much is. And, also this week, completely unrelated, but the Evelyn Boswell case came to an end, unfortunately, if you recall, she was, I believe, 15-month-old baby. Her mother, same thing, went missing. Don't know where she is. She was with family. She was with his family. She was a friend. She was this babysitter. Just changed her story so often that finally authorities believed that they found the baby's body.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, they found her on a family property.
What a monster.
Yeah, so unfortunately this week that came to an end. I hope that the same thing, we're not reading the same thing about these two children.
And that took place in Tennessee, correct?
It did take place in Tennessee, yes.
Oh.
So really sad ending there. But yeah, that's pretty much the only update that we have for this week. As I put out on Instagram, and again, if you do not follow us on Instagram, please do. It is our new Instagram account, and that is at We Saw the Devil Podcast. Again, We Saw the Devil Podcast. I put up that, we've been covering the Lori Vallow case nonstop, and we are going to start, keeping up the coverage. We will absolutely keep putting out update episodes for all of you, but we are also going to start going into other cases, right? Like other stories, other cases, and whatnot. So expect us to start once again branching out. And do you have anything else?
In spirit of Amanda, since she's lost in Vegas, she literally doesn't know where she is right now. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. But either way, she's probably still awake. She doesn't sleep. I want everyone to know a little bit about Amanda. She never sleeps, and she's always watching.
She is. She is indeed.
Ah.
We missed you, Amanda, for this episode.
Yeah, we do.
Also, I hope everyone is washing their hands and staying out of severely populated places. I don't know about you guys, but there will be a criminal case, and it will turn into a true crime episode if someone even comes 5 feet around me and coughs.
Hey, a good podcast listener is an alive podcast listener, okay?
Right.
So stay alive, support our Patreon, so we can keep giving you the best Lori Vallow coverage right here, right now.
Yeah, so you can sign up and please be a patron. You can find us at patreon.com/WeSawTheDevil, and we have some killer tiers here for you, ranging all the way from $3 a month to $25 a month. And if you do the $25 a month, you get a murder box with a bunch of goodies, including a t-shirt. So you will be an executive co-producer of the show and get a t-shirt. Anything beyond below that, for the most part, $5 and up, gets stickers and other cool stuff. And we will write you. We will hand write you every month. So another announcement, Jackie.
What?
Announcement.
What?
We are coming to Rexburg.
We will be in Rexburg the week of my birthday. Okay, for the week of my birthday, we will be in Rexburg, and we will be getting live coverage and video. Okay, so if you become a patron, you can get early release of video coverage. I'm going to be bringing a drone and everything, so you should literally tighten up your panties and support us.
Your support means the world to us. And if you can become a patron, we would really appreciate your financial backing so we can give you the best sound, the best YouTube videos, and so on and so forth. So please think about becoming a patron. Also, you'll be, as Jackie said, you will be able to get basically the early release footage of our trip to Rexburg, and we do have a couple interviews lined up. So think about that, please. Also, we appreciate your reviews on iTunes, Stitcher, whatever platform you use. If you could, the most important part of podcasting is the review. So if you like the show, if you just like us, if you just missed Amanda,
If
you just missed Amanda, then leave us a review, please, and we would greatly appreciate it. Other than that, you can find us at wesawthedevil.com for our website, or on Twitter at wesawthedevil, and Instagram, wesawthedevil podcast. Again, thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.